Hello everyone, this is Tony. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I want to discuss and give you an update on the Michelin star restaurants that are rated in Vancouver. It's been a year since Michelin has done their ratings, and I've been to each one of these restaurants since they've been rated. So I wanted to give you a little bit of update on them. In addition, Michelin has just provided an update where they listed an additional 10 restaurants that I guess are recommended or bib gourmand restaurants. I'll go through those. Very exciting to get that type of list and an update before they re-rate again this year in the fall. And I will be visiting many of these restaurants over the next couple of months and trying to review those as well. I will also be providing, prior to the Michelin announcement of their 2023 guide, my views on it. It's kind of like the Oscars or the Academy Awards. It's just fun in terms of no one knows what they're gonna do, but I'll try and give you my views based on what I've eaten this year. So let's go through the restaurants. There are 8 Michelin star restaurants in Vancouver, and just give you kind of some basic information about each one of them. First one I'm going to talk about is St. Lawrence restaurant, which is kind of French or regional cuisine from the Montreal area. So the chef there is J.C. Poirier. I've been there quite a few times before I got Michelin and a star, and then thereafter. So they charge $125 plus tax plus gratuity. It works out to be about $156 per person. What you get for that is you get several amuse-bouches, then you get a starter, a entree, and a dessert, and then they also have a couple of other nice things. They have a palate cleanser between the entree and the dessert, and then they have petite fours at the end. So that's what you can expect from that restaurant. And again, what I'm going to emphasize is I've been to all of them. I'm a real believer in Vancouver, and I hope that all of them do keep their stars. Some of them I like better than others, but I still hope, for the sake of Vancouver, we should all hope that they keep their stars and we get more starred restaurants. Next one I'm going to talk about is another restaurant that I'm very familiar with called Kisatanto. It's also located in the kind of Chinatown region. It is called fusion. I would call it more Italian, Japanese kind of fusion. The chef there is Joel Watanabe, and it's one of the nice restaurants where most Michelin star restaurants you have to do a price fixed menu, and there's only some options. Oh, sorry, I talk about St. Lawrence. With St. Lawrence, there's an option for a starter, for the entree and the dessert. So you have the choice of 2, and sometimes they have some specials which you can replace without extra costs. Kisatanto is one of those nice restaurants where you do not have to eat a fixed price menu. You can just order a la carte. They do charge you a $50 booking fee that they'll let you cancel or they'll let you change, but if you don't show up, then they will charge you the $50. You can actually, at Kisatanto, allow the chef to just kind of make your course, and you can kind of give them a price point, I think anywhere from like $150 to $500, $600 if you wanted to. But you can also order a la carte. So that's a really nice option. I really enjoy that. We don't have to have a fixed price menu because different people might want to have different things. Next restaurant I'm going to talk about is Published on Main. This is on Main Street. The chef there is Gus Stiefenhofer Branson. It's called Contemporary North American, I would say, kind of with a Nordic kind of spin on it. Their price, they have a tasting menu that's between $150 to $160. That's an option, but they do let you order a la carte, which is really nice too. So if you're doing the tasting menu, it is works out to be with taxes and tip, it's $206. And but again, you can do a la carte here, which is also very nice. They charge you a $60 booking fee, which again, if you no show, then they kind of take that deposit, which is fair, I think. I've been to there a couple of times since they got Michelin star. It's a good quality restaurant. It was rated the #1 restaurant in Canada a year back. Not my preferred restaurant, but I think it's more personal preference. It is a quality restaurant, and again, all these restaurants I think should keep their stars, and I'm hopeful they'll keep their stars. Next restaurant is Anna Lena. It's on West 1st in Vancouver, the west side of Vancouver. The chef there is Mike Robbins. They describe it as contemporary regional cuisine, so kind of West Coast cuisine. They have a fixed price menu, 5 courses, I think with some add-ons, and it's $112, but that doesn't include tip and taxes. They do charge a $95 fee. I've been there several times since they've got their star. Very impressed with their standard. I really like this restaurant. It's a fun restaurant to go to, and most of these restaurants like St. Lawrence that are fixed price, they change their menu every month or so. So I really like this restaurant, and I was there when they first opened, so there's a huge progression in terms of the taste and the whole experience. So they've done a really good job there. The next restaurant after that I'm going to talk about is Burdock Company, which is on Main Street. I really like this restaurant also. Have been there many times before it got a star, has been back, and is still excellent. The chef there is Andrea Carlson. So this, again, contemporary North American, West Coast, farm to table cooking. Similar to Anna Lena, it's $125. You get 5 courses plus a bread course, but the bread is kind of really special with their butter. It's kind of some of the best bread in the city. They do charge you a $50 booking fee. So if you don't show up, they charge you that $50. Again, similar to Anna Lena, I think they're both quality restaurants and a little bit similar to Published on Main, but I would prefer Anna Lena and Burdock over Published on Main. Burdock and Company I find is a little bit, maybe slightly more casual, but both of them are very, very good restaurants. So it's, I would say, if you were coming to visit Vancouver, you would probably go to one of the 3 of these restaurants because they're fairly similar. St. Lawrence is different, and so is Kisatanto. So if you wanted a bit of a variety, maybe you would, these are all what we would call kind of West Coast, contemporary North American cuisine. Next restaurant is Barbara. This is also in East Pender, so there's really quite a few restaurants in that East Pender, Chinatown area. St. Lawrence is there, Kisatanto is there, Barbara is there. They're all kind of within a block or 2. So I guess that's where Michelin likes that kind of edginess. The chef here is Patrick Hennessy. Reservation, actually I'd never heard of this restaurant prior to it getting Michelin star. Once it got a star, it was hard to get a reservation. Subsequently did get a reservation, really enjoyed it. Again, it's a 3-course meal, and it is I think it's $80 per person, and they take a $100 deposit per person. So they've got a starter, a main course, and an appetizer, and of those they always have 3 different choices: a meat, a seafood, and a vegetarian. So he changes the menu every 7 weeks. He changes 1 dish per week. So after 7 weeks, it's all the menu rolls over. There's 2 items on the menu that he doesn't change every month, and I have that in my video. So again, very good restaurant. It's kind of Italian, but not really. So I would say, again, West Coast with a kind of Italian flair to it. A good restaurant, enjoy it. This one is one of the restaurants where you're very intimate with the chef, because it's kind of like a bar seating. The other restaurants that you have your table. With this one, it's more like bar seating, and just like Masuyoshi, the next restaurant I'm talking about. So there's a lot of focus. You can talk, but there's a lot of focus because you're right next to the chef on the actual preparation of food. So that's kind of an added addition to going to these restaurants, because you get partly a show of it. The next one I'm going to talk about is Masuyoshi. So this is a Japanese restaurant. So what you get for your price, I think it's $220 a person plus tax. They don't include the tip yet. It is 10 pieces of sushi plus an appetizer, miso soup, and a dessert. and the chef here is Masayoshi Baba. Again, it's one of these where you sit at a bar. There are 2 tables on the side where you can sit with your own table, but most people you'll get a table at the bar, and it's relatively quiet. I mean, it's not that they won't allow you to talk at these restaurants, but generally speaking, there is some time, especially at Masayoshi, where he's preparing the food, and it's kind of a show. So if you like that type of thing where you're a big foodie and you like to see a show in front of you, that's the type of restaurant with you. If you're there just to talk something private with your friend or whatever, this restaurant is probably not for the most appropriate place for that. Same thing with Barbara, although the chef isn't talking to you all the time at Barbara, but there's a lot going on in terms of him preparing food, so that's kind of part of the show, and you kind of don't want to miss that. So and also you're at the bar, so whatever you're saying, a lot of the chef and other people can probably hear what you're talking about. So yeah, so it's a little bit different experience than some of the other restaurants. Again, quality of food is great. I didn't go before they got a star, but I have gone to the restaurant after they got a star. Loved it. My wife personally doesn't eat a lot of sushi, so we probably won't go back a lot at this restaurant, but it is a good restaurant. It's on the expensive side. I guess sushi is expensive, but it's on the expensive side compared to the other restaurants in Vancouver that have Michelin stars. And just a word about that. I mean, this is I think quite a good deal, because viewers that are American, this is in Canadian dollars. So for American, I think we take off like 0.8, so it's like $100 would be $80 American. So you're getting a pretty good deal here for Michelin star based restaurants, even at $220 Canadian. That's not bad. That's maybe almost 180 American. That's not too bad for a Michelin star restaurant, and some of these are under $100 American. So pretty good deal. Last Michelin star restaurant I'm going to talk about is Aiden and Zhenjidi Beijing Duck House. It's on Cambie and 12th on Vancouver. It is a Chinese restaurant, obviously, with the Peking duck as its specialty. I think it's the only Michelin star restaurant where you can book and you don't need to put down a deposit. It's fairly pricey, so it is kind of a specialty restaurant. I don't think many people would go there on a very frequent basis, although I do know of many kind of Chinese clients that I have that do go fairly frequently for business and things like that. So the duck that they're famous for, it starts at $128, but they have one with caviar that's $268. So it is on the pricier side of things. And I think one of the things, the issues, I guess, with Michelin and Chinese restaurants in particular, is that they try to focus on a chef. Well, a lot of Chinese restaurants don't have really one chef per se, and so it's difficult to kind of focus on that chef and his characteristics. I like the restaurant. It is pricey, so you have to be prepared that it's going to be among these restaurants, Masayoshi and I think Zhenjidi is going to be the most priciest restaurants if you're going to go try a Michelin star restaurant in Vancouver. Recently, Michelin came out with 10 new restaurants, which they added to the list. None of them were given stars, but they are now recommended restaurants. I don't know if that's unusual to do that prior to the new listings, but my thinking is probably none of these will get actually Michelin stars, but it's nice to add them. So I'll just go through them quickly. Farmer's Apprentice is a restaurant on West 6. It's been around for a while. It's known for kind of very healthy and farm to table cuisine. So I would like to try that out. Okeya Kyujiro. This is a Japanese restaurant, which I've never heard of and haven't been, so I'm interested in going. It is on Mainland Street in the Yaletown part of downtown. Next is Folke, which is a vegan restaurant. So that's kind of a neat thing to have. That's on West Broadway. So again, I haven't tried that restaurant. Sushi Jin, I've heard of, but never been to this restaurant again. It's neat to have this. This is in downtown on Nelson Street. And then the next one after that is Karma Indian Bistro. And I guess it's kind of nice to have restaurants that Michelin recommends. This is on West 4th, but again, not to me that well known. Again, I'm not a food critic, but haven't heard of it. And, you know, I've been here all my life, so I don't think I've been there. But again, I would try it out. Next one is Archer, which I have heard of. It's on Alberni Street. It's a fairly new restaurant. So I would like to check it out. And it's going to be like contemporary cuisine, much in the kind of vein of Annalena or Burdock. And then next restaurant after that is going to be Sushi Hil, which is on Main Street. And again, you'll see there is a spin on things. Generally speaking, they, for some reason, maybe it's what they're told to do or what the instruction they're given or direction they're given, but they do choose seems like Michelin chooses a lot of restaurants in the Main Street area and in the Chinatown area. Shies away a little bit from downtown and also the upper west side of Vancouver. So, you know, I guess that's their contemporary vibe that they have, but I can just tell you from my perspective what I go to, what I don't go to. Okay, Bao Bei is also another restaurant in Chinatown, and I'll have to check this out. It's on Kiever Street. I thought that Joel Watanabe of Kisatanto was no longer the chef there, but I thought it was another chef that's doing that, so I have to kind of confirm that in the comment section. And there's two other restaurants. One is called Hanai, which is a Hawaiian restaurant. Honestly, I've never heard of that. And it's on Commercial Street. And again, this is the bent that Michelin has taken, or maybe the Tourism Vancouver has taken, that they like to kind of showcase restaurants kind of on the east side. Like this, the last one is Motonubu Udon, which is an East Hastings. So I guess they want to kind of spread it out a little bit. I will note that it is kind of peculiar that I know that Michelin did kind of rate a fair amount of restaurants in Chinese restaurants in Vancouver, but you know, in this new update of the 10 restaurants, none of them are actually Chinese restaurants, and you have, I think, 1, 2, 3, 4 Japanese restaurant. Bao Bei is not really. It's a fusion Chinese restaurant. It's not a straight traditional Chinese restaurant. So it's, you know, the Japanese market is disproportionate in terms of how many Japanese. It seems like Michelin seems to like Japanese restaurants over Chinese restaurants. The Chinese population in Vancouver, I think, is about 20 to 30% of the population. So you'd think that 20 to 30% of the restaurants listed by Michelin should be probably, you know, Chinese or Chinese based. That's what you'd think in terms of the population. The population of the Japanese community in Vancouver is like a 1.5%, but I think they're overrepresented by the restaurants. So just a note in terms of, it looks like there's certain spins, and I think one of the reasons in particular with Chinese restaurants that they don't get a lot of listing in Michelin is it's hard for them to identify one chef. As you know, with most traditional Chinese restaurants, they have a dim sum chef, but they have a number of chefs, none of which were really renowned. Second thing is they don't have a distinctive wine list. A lot of times, it's the wine list. Quite frankly, a lot of people in Vancouver at Chinese restaurants, we bring in our own wine and we get charged corkage. So it's not, they won't kind of put in an extensive wine list, which is perhaps one thing that Michelin takes into account. And thirdly is that a lot of these restaurants have a lot of regular customers that, like for example, dim sum restaurants will have regulars that are there every week. And so it may be difficult to book. The booking systems might be difficult to understand. So it might be difficult to kind of assess those restaurants. That's kind of my explanation of why I don't think, I think Chinese restaurants are probably underrepresented. But I do hope that they, because that's the other thing, we don't know who the inspectors from Michelin are. I would think they would bring in quite a few Chinese people that are familiar with Chinese cuisine to kind of assess these restaurants, because Vancouver has an exceptionally wide variety of Chinese cuisine. So anyone who thinks that Chinese cuisine is just one kind of thing, that's completely false. We're used to a lot of Cantonese or Hong Kong cuisine, but because of the influx of immigrants that we've had, and because Vancouver is a Pacific Rim gateway, now we have lots of great Taiwanese restaurants, and then we have Shanghainese restaurants, we have northern cuisine restaurants, we have Sichuan restaurants, which is very famous all around the world, and everything kind of in between. So it's really interesting, the types of cuisine that we can get. I'm not even an expert in them, but there's lots of things that are to be discovered, and I do get the sense that Michelin is not really that in tune with that. They don't have a guide for China, so they're not really, I think, as in tune with the different types of Chinese cuisine as compared to, you know, Korea with Korean, or Japan with Japanese cuisine, because they already have guides or inspectors there. They don't have any guides in China, and so they're probably not as well versed. That's my feeling. Anyways, hope you've enjoyed this video, and you know, you hope that you'll look forward to my upcoming video. I'm going to really give it some thought in terms of what I think are restaurants over the last year that I've tried that may make the list, or I think should make the list. Until next time, happy eating.